Huh. It seems we're live. It seems we're live. I guess nobody's here because I'm starting a little earlier than I said. I said I will be starting this stream in about 40 minutes. But, I was sitting here and thinking, why not start earlier? Because I will be doing quite a lot of repetitive work today. I will actually be painting for a while because there is something I need to finish, and maybe some of you from what I'm showing on the screen here, maybe some of you will recognize what that is. And yes, it's a painting that I have for my short film Heroes of Bronze. It is a historical Greek painting of a battle of Marathon, or at least my version that I want to finish for the short film. Let me have a look if somebody's in the chat already. So there are 4 people watching me. Hopefully in about how much? 40 minutes. The live stream will start properly. I will then start all over basically. But until then, I will basically start just painting, doing some work. Hope everybody's okay during this corona crisis. Hope everybody's home and safe and nobody has any virus. I hope I don't. I actually was supposed to do this live stream already last week, but I didn't have virus. But I actually had such a headache that I couldn't work on computer. So I had to postpone it, so sorry for that. I know I said, or at least the live stream was supposed to be last Friday, but well, this week flew like crazy. I don't even know it happened. So here we go, another Friday, and here I'm doing a live stream after a lot of time actually. I think last live stream I did in December last year. Yeah, sorry. I'm very sorry. I actually one of my Patreon page promises was that I will be doing live streams every month. I didn't. I basically had so much work with finishing my CG Boost course for Zach Reinhardt's site, cgboost.com. I was doing a Substance Painter course. If you follow this channel, you may know about it. And then I was so exhausted after the work that I didn't do any live stream. But I here solemnly swear that in the following weeks, since I'm at home, probably quarantined as you are, so I will be doing a lot more of these live streams. Maybe not as prepared as I had the previous ones where I had everything prepared and structured, basically like a tutorial. These will be kind of more freestyle live streams where I will be showing you how I work actually. So hopefully you like it. Let's have a look. We have 14 people. Manuel, hello. I can see there's something going on in the chat. Sergio, hello as well. I'm glad you like the tutorials on my channel or on Zach Reinhardt's channel. And what we're going to be doing today, or what I'm going to be doing because I need to finish this thing, as I said like a few minutes ago, I have all these references of ancient Greek paintings. This is basically a Greek painting on a vase, on an amphora. It is called Chigi vase. You can find about it on Wikipedia, actually. And what the scientists or archaeologists did was that they took the painting on it and they laid it out like this, to be 2D, and this served as a valuable reference for a painting, a historical Greek painting I wanted to create for my short film. Then of course I gathered a lot of other reference. I can't really tell you what the names of the other vases are. There's something, Amphora by Berlin painter. Okay, with huge saber, so that's good. It was really a huge saber. Whew. Okay, another valuable reference for me was this reconstruction of a painted stoa. For those of you who played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, there is actually a very... The game is shit, in my opinion. Like, the actual game, the story is shit. But the art and the world that they created is absolutely amazing. And one thing they did was they created the Agora for ancient Athens, basically the biggest meeting place there. And in this Agora, there was actually a painted store, like a building with paintings all over. And people met there and they remembered great historical moments of Athens. And mostly it was the Battle of Marathon. And as you can see, Greeks did have this strange 2D, almost like those old games shown from the side style, where they basically shown everything from the side. And you can see the Persians, it's those with axes and funny hats and trousers, being beaten by Greeks, which is what my film is actually about. So yeah, these are Spartans. They were late. Okay. And here on the left, some ships, because the Persians were actually escaping on ships in panic. You've probably seen the movie 302, The Rise of the Empire, I think, which was shit as well. But you probably have some info about Battle of Marathon from there. Or maybe from other sources, better sources, hopefully. So yeah, don't let me start on the historical ancient Greek movies, because most of them are not good. Let me have a look at. Yeah, Sergio says that Odyssey had a ton of content like this. They did, and that's why I have it in reference document here as well, because I basically wanted to copy the style of what I've seen in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because these paintings were not actually these Greek paintings. Exceptions are these amphora paintings, but the actual paintings on the walls were not. Sorry, I have this application that I need to quit it because it's saving my eyes, but it's not really good for live stream, so sorry for that. These paintings were actually destroyed in time, so we don't have anything like nothing stayed with us to these modern days, and we have to basically reconstruct how it could have looked. And that's one thing I think that guys at Ubisoft, who did Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins, did very well. Here, if you want to search ArtStation, there's a guy called Vincent Desrosiers. I think this guy was the lead of all these paintings and materials they created for Odyssey, which was really awesome, and I loved it. So I took this as a third type of reference. So first the vases, then the reconstruction, drawn reconstruction of how the painted stoa could have looked. And you actually can see the painted stoa in the game Assassin's Creed Odyssey, even though they didn't actually do the work and paint all these things in the reconstructions. There is like some generic texture that they repeat in every temple, but it's very nice to see this painted stoa in the game, and they did it very well, as I said. So these three references I took. I'm really happy to catch your live stream. I've just Streliata. Hello everybody. Hello new people in the chat. Hey Martin, I hope you're doing well, says SO2. I hope you're doing well too. I hope you are all safe and healthy. Streliata, 10 tips. I've watched your 10 tips to make better render. Awesome. That was real fun doing a video like that. And I think I will do more like this for Zach's channel. So definitely follow CG Boost. There will be a lot more content in the future. And maybe Zach is doing a new video. I don't know. Maybe it will hit soon. I don't know. Hint, hint. I don't know. Okay. Okay. And hello Ed, says, I have seen your post in Blender with nature. What are you planning to do with it? I'm playing around with environments now, and if it works out, there might be a course, maybe. Yeah. So enough about this reference, but as I said in all of my tutorials, basically doing when we did the helmet and when we did what else we did, the Spartan and the architecture course, of course, which is free on YouTube, as well as the free helmet YouTube course, which I did 2 months back. I always get a reference like this. You probably know I do, because I say it in every video. So yeah, get a reference. Use this software called PureRef. It costs a few bucks, but it's quite alright. And yeah, then I basically just went in and painted painted everything in a similar style. You can see it's not finished, and that's also one of the reasons I'm doing this live stream, is I'll be painting this right now, or at least I want to finish this portion with the hoplites running into the fight. And you can see I copied all of my reference. I copied the Chigi vase. Basically this left side is just a Chigi vase copy. I'm sorry, but you know, I need to save time when I can. So yeah, while this right side is actually a mixture of different vases I found and different and also the painted stoa reconstruction. So basically I painted and I didn't actually ask. I hope the sound is okay. So if you can hear me, just write it in the discussion, and if you can't hear me, you won't hear me, so you won't write it in the discussion. So hopefully you can hear me just all right. And I'll have a look at the questions. Jason Pullin, hello, I think Jason Pullin is my biggest Patreon, so I hope I'm not mistaken, but I remember you, sir, from the last live stream and our conversation of Patreon. So if you're, just let me know how you are, just write it in the discussion, and I'm glad you're here. Good, and the sound is okay, so I think I can start. So on the right side you can see this is how I started. I basically just drawn based on the reference. I will switch to PureRef. Based on this reference, I've drawn some of the characters here. You can see there are guys, Persians actually, fleeing to their ships, which is actually what happened at the Battle of Marathon. These guys are fleeing on horses. These guys are, everybody's fleeing. And there's this hoplite commando basically battling it out and pushing them to the sea. So that's what happened at the Battle of Marathon, or something like that. And there's somebody lying here, down here actually. Who it is? Well, I can actually give you a little spoiler here. I hope I don't spoil anything too much with this, but while we're at it, why not? Why not? So let me find it, because I did not count on showing you, but I have this little render from the Marathon Beach. Hopefully it opens. Yes. Yeah, so this is from a video that hopefully hits YouTube soon, and hopefully Nikephoros is just taking a nap. So yeah, let me get back to Photoshop. And maybe this is the guy lying here, I don't know. I guess you're pretty much confused now, but everything will be explained soon in the video. I will hopefully finish as soon as possible. But that was a frame from my upcoming short film, so hope you'll like it. Let me have a sip of water. And I will actually switch to my Cintiq and start painting this thing. Show you a bit of layers that I use. So hopefully I know how to do this. And show Cintiq. Don't show the... Yeah, good. So I will just switch this YouTube view so I can see your comments. Sorry, it will take just a moment. And here we go. I can see the comments. And SO2 says he can't wait for the final short. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad people are actually excited for this because you know, I never thought ancient Greece could make people excited. It certainly does. It certainly does it for me, but I never expected that so many people will start following this project because it is from ancient Greece. So hopefully, hopefully, not in the future we will. My dream is that big films like Gladiator and well, what was there? Troy, maybe Alexander. Will make a comeback, and we I hope we will in a near future, not really a near future, but because of the coronavirus, but in like 10 years, hopefully movies about ancient Greece and ancient times will be back. I don't know if that happens, but it's a dream of mine, and maybe just maybe I will help with this motion with my project. So we'll see. Anyway, let me get to work. As I said, I will just quickly finish coloring up these guys. Let me have a look at these layers here. And they are working on Gladiator 2, says WeBR. No, Gladiator 2, that's a bad idea. I don't know, maybe it will be good, but... Manrai, sorry, I sing. I probably butchered your name, asks if I have references. Yes, I do. I showed them at the beginning of the stream. Here I gathered a lot of vase references. The famous Chigi vase is here, which I blatantly copied. and some Assassin's Creed Odyssey references, so that's what I based it on. Let me push pure ref away and start painting. I have some color. First off, I started with the outlines, as I've shown here. I first started just with white lines, and then I filled the lines with black color. That's easy enough, and probably everybody knows how to do that in Photoshop. I actually have an error here, now that I'm looking at it. Let me have a look. Color Persians. And I should have a black color here. Horses, sorry. That's why you should name your layers, but I have a layer with horses here. And this region should actually not be filled with color, so... Oh no! My Cintiq is not working. I checked everything, but I did not check whether my Cintiq will be working or not. Let's try it out. Okay, never mind. All right. So I removed that region, and I started out with the lines, and then underneath it I put my colors. So you can see this is just a line work, and I have a folder here. Let me make this bigger, where I open it up, and I have several types of materials. This is kinda important. You can see that I named it wood, I named it BR as bronze, and red for red linen probably. Also I have layer 56 because I didn't name that one. But it's basically just the white color on the crest, so let me name it now. Hey Martin, hello Wolfie Designs, glad you're here. Are you good at drawing, like on paper? No, I'm very bad at drawing. And I would love to be better, but you know, it's a lot of practice, and I try to put my practice into mostly 3D these days. Because life is short, and I'd love to finish something in this life. So yeah, but definitely it's on my list, and I want to learn drawing a bit more, but you know, never get around to it. So blue color and skin color right underneath everything. Let me just quickly, I will not spend the whole of this the whole of this live stream just painting this. I will actually show you later how I did everything in Substance Painter, but for now let me just have a look and start painting some areas. To see everything better, I will actually invert the lines, because in the end I want the lines to be black for the final artwork. And let me very quickly just show you the final result. This is how it looks. You can see all the materials are different here. The bronze parts are actually bronze, and I played around with it in Substance Painter. And I will hide it now and continue painting. So I will invert the lines. And let's start with having a look where are actually some areas of a skin that are missing. So here's some area of a skin missing. And yeah, I said at the beginning this will be more like a freestyle live stream. I actually intend to do some work here, so if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them. I will definitely be looking into the chat and trying to reply as often as possible while working. I imagine like 20 minutes now I'll be working on this painting. Let me have a look where I can fill something with the skin tone. And I hope everybody's doing okay in this quarantine times. Very strange times we live in, right? Like 2 months ago, I never expected that I would be wearing a cover on my face almost permanently when I'm outside, and suddenly it's a reality and quite normal actually. So yeah, I'm staying home. I hope you are staying home too and are okay. Sreliata is asking, would you say Substance Painter is good application? I would say Substance Painter is amazing application. It actually saves me so much time when I'm texturing. So in fact, I haven't learned texturing in Blender for many years now, ever since I bought Substance Painter, and I'm just falling more and more in love with it. And it's especially great in combination with other software, which I'm going to be showing. Okay, so I'm having a look around where there are some areas that I haven't filled on these guys with the skin tone, but I think it's okay. So what do we have next? We have a blue color. So I think I will fill with the blue color. It really bums me out that I don't actually my Cintiq stopped working from some reason. I'm thinking about stopping for a while, but no, let me actually do it with a mouse. I don't care, this is not a hard work. So I would, if I was working actually without live streaming at this point, I would probably restart my Cintiq, but what the hell. So my goal is I will fill every other shield with blue color. This is actually the inside of the Espis shield, and I actually have a course on creating an Espis shield. It's free on my YouTube, on this YouTube channel, and it's a really old course. It's my first course, so the quality is not that good, but if you want to know how to create a fairly good looking asset for your film or maybe even for a game, you can have a look at it. It's called How to Create Ancient Greek Shield, I think. Have you done graphic design work before? Asks Bavish. Yeah. yeah. For 10 years I've been a freelancer in this field, and I wouldn't say I'm too good at anything. I'm a generalist, so I do a little bit of everything, but I don't do anything very good, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of freelance work, but lately, thanks to Zach Reinhardt and his CG boost, I have been able to stop doing a lot of freelance work and focus on the courses I make for him instead. and also on my film a bit more. So maybe, just maybe, I will finish it this year, which is a goal. We don't have the Serliata is asking, we don't have the possibility to get a cover here anymore. It sucks. Yeah, I think a Substance Painter trial eventually. Would love Substance guy. Yeah. Yeah, definitely recommend Substance Painter. Try the trial. You can try my course at cgboost.com. Oh, sorry, I won't be doing any. I won't be doing any plugging here. But yeah, since I've done the course, I might as well mention it. So. Yeah, that may be a good start for you. I missed the skin. Portion here, so let me fill it. And as you can see, this will not take too long. I think I will just finish up these crests and the shields. What do we have here? The outside of these shields, some of them were made of bronze, some of them of leather. I have this wood here. Some of them, of course, the base of the shield was actually made of wood, so I have a wood color here, and I will fill the rim of this shield with it. And as you can see, I'm painting on the masks here. I have mask on every layer, and I'm painting with white color to fill it. And it might actually be a good idea to first paint bronze, because I want these parts to be bronze, just to add a little bit of interest to it. So click, click, and click. Okay, and by the way, on my Patreon, I will be posting a link for this live stream in its entirety after this is done. So yeah, it will not be lost. Don't worry, guys. And I'm painting over it, but I will then very quickly get rid of this. And just get rid of this region. This was a very long project for me. I've been working on this painting for like 3 months. So yeah, quite a long process for something. But in the end, I believe for the short film, it will actually be very, very good addition to it. Adding a painting in the ancient Greek style. It's these sort of details that make projects like this more interesting, I think. So that's why I wanted to have it there. Mr. Aragorn, hello. You're my favorite character in Lord of the Rings. So yeah, good to have you here. No, not really. Maybe there. Well, I guess. It's hard to say who's my favorite character in Lord of the Rings, because they're all awesome. Who's your favorite character, guys? Or do you like Lord of the Rings at all? So yeah, finishing this rim. I'm thinking of adding some colors then, but let me add a little darker regions for these triangles here. And I will actually change this selection lasso tool to polygon lasso tool, or hopefully that's what it's called. Mr. Aragorn says that Man Ray is saying Bilbo Baggins, Gimli is a badass, says Bavish. I'm sorry if I butcher your names, sorry guys. Mr. Aragorn says, well, him and Legolas definitely. And Sreliata says that she thinks my voice is good for commenting these videos, which I'm very, very glad to hear, since that's something I'm focusing on, making courses and making videos. I'm thinking of creating videos where I just talk sometimes, like talking about what my favorite books from ancient Greece are, or how to pick a topic for your own project and stick with it, little tips here and there. So that's what I'm thinking about for the future, for near future. This might appear on my channel. It will not be live stream videos. It will be more like regular videos, but just a commentary, not a tutorial really. And you may see that this painting is not really perfect. I actually want to make it imperfect because I imagine somebody in real life has painted it back then, since it's a reconstruction of ancient Greek painting, and there were no modern technologies back then, so some lines may not have been perfect, especially on these paintings. So that's how I approach this. Here actually is a cover, some place that could be like a part of the leg, so let me make it red. And to change it up a little, I will make it inside of this shield brown. And remove this part. Let me know if it's okay when I sometimes do live stream like this, which means not as prepared as the ones that I've done in the past. More like a live stream session of how I work, and maybe an opportunity to to talk a little more with you guys following this channel. So far I kind of like it. So we be our Azog, if you can also pick from the Hobbit. No, you can't pick from the Hobbit because Hobbits should never have been made. Hobbit is a total atrocity of a movie, so no. I'm only half joking. No, I'm not joking. It's a J, lol. Manraj. I guess. Sorry, Manraj. You are a very big ancient Greek fan, right? Yes, yes. I try to learn more about the history. I read a lot of books. I actually mostly read just books about ancient Greece these days. So I try to get as much info that I can, and really not make my short film do historical errors like, for example, many big Hollywood movies make. Of course, there are other influences there. When somebody's making big Hollywood movies, he has to focus on whether people will actually like it, and sometimes being totally historically correct is not good for general audience. I understand that. I actually worked in the movie industry. Still, I want to make my project as historically correct as possible, if that's even possible. But I like to study the area that I work in and try to always make it as historically correct as I can. That doesn't mean I won't make any mistakes. Basically, every time I create an artwork and show it to a historian, he tears it up, saying that what sort of mistakes I do. But I guess that's inevitable, so it doesn't really bother me that much. I try to take into account what they say, improve what I can, and ditch what I can't. Have you read the Song of Achilles? The Song of Achilles? I guess I did. Song of Achilles. Song of Achilles. Sounds cool. No, I didn't, apparently. Achilles Patroclus. Yeah, but I read the retelling of the Troy story, the Lord of the Silver Bow and the Silver Bow, which I can really recommend. It's like by David Gemmell, I don't know. That's really awesome series, so I can recommend that. Makes a short film, 300 sweats. I don't know. I don't understand. Manraj says that my videos give him ideas for a game he's making. That's awesome. Love to hear that. So yeah, guys, I will just finish up with these shields, because that's something I have neglected for far too long. Let's make this edge, for example, blue. No, it's already blue in the inside, so let's make it red, of course. I'm not sure. I'm not really a live stream guy. Should I play music for my next live stream, or shouldn't I? I don't really listen to music when I work. I mostly listen to podcasts. But yeah, I may create a playlist that may play in the background. Yeah. Maybe it will. Maybe you can work with me as well while I'm working next time. So yeah, fill this shield. It seems on this side, except for the crests. I will do them later. This is filling nicely. Let's make the edge of this next shield again as wood. I find music is always a weird topic, because yeah. Cereliata says that music is a weird topic because tastes differ so much. Yeah, I would definitely probably not make some people happy, but I just listen mostly to soundtracks, some from movies, some from games. When I really want to dive deep into my work, I actually listen to trance music. I've never been a fan, never been to a trance concert, but yeah, from some point I heard some track. I think it was State of Trance, actually, by Armin van Buuren, and I think he's famous in the trance community, not trance community, like trance, like music, you know. So I think he's famous there, and I kind of like to listen to him, or to his tracks, to his I think he's doing streams or something, when I really want to like get into trance and work hard. So that's what I sometimes do, but mostly just soundtracks. Dutch Hero, says Lalaman. Yeah, I guess he is. He's Dutch. Oh, of course. So yeah, I'm progressing with this. Let me actually make this brown again, this part. I'm missing some lines, so at the end I will probably add some lines here, but that will be very quick. And after this, let me just finish up this work, and I will show you how I added it into a scene in Blender, and then how I used actually IDs without baking any IDs. I actually used this image as ID for my materials in Substance Painter. That will be exciting, I think. Let me fill this with bronze. That's actually the main thing that I wanted to show you, because I think that's something not many people know, that you can use IDs without baking. Just use a regular image that you, for example, paint in Photoshop, like I'm doing here, and use it as IDs in Substance Painter. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, either wait for it, I will show it, or you can take my course, where I take on CG Boost, where I talk about IDs in great length, but you don't have to. So yeah, a bit of meticulous work here. Did you work with other programs like Marmoset, Maya, or Max before? And if so, do you think Blender lacks anything? I worked in Maya for the longest time. I think I started in Maya and I worked in it for like 5 years. I don't really think it lacked anything. It's one of those programs that when you open it up, it scares you because it's not obvious what anything means in there. But yeah, like I always say, if you open Cinema 4D, you kind of know how to work with it even without knowing anything. If you open up Maya, you have no idea. You just, you fail miserably if you don't do any tutorials. So that's one thing that I didn't really like there. Oh, what did I do? Blue. Yeah, of course. So let's remove this wood. That's one thing I didn't really like there. Unfortunately, Blender is kind of the same, in my opinion. If you open it up without any previous knowledge, you won't really do too much work. You kind of know maybe how to create a cube and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near as user-friendly as some of the newer software like Cinema, for example, or even I think Modo. But I actually like Blender because first, of course, it's free. But the community around it and all the tutorials and all the courses and everybody basically being so enthusiastic about the work, that's what I love about it, and that's why I switched to Blender after several years of using Maya. So I wouldn't say anything's missing from any software out there. All the Autodesk tools are great tools for working on big budget projects, and big studios have them and no problem in it. I worked in companies where they did have 3ds Max. I worked in companies where they did have Maya, and I stick to Blender. It doesn't have some like too advanced simulations maybe, and when your scene gets really big, there are some problems maybe. I'm talking about Blender. But that's actually what I'm dealing with now, because for this project I am making quite huge scenes. So sometimes run into problems that my computer can't really handle them easily. But otherwise, Blender doesn't lack anything in my opinion. And the community is just amazing, creating all sorts of add-ons, and even the developers, they're so transparent. I've never seen anything like it, and their enthusiasm in creating new tools for Blender is just amazing. For example, Pablo Dobaro, I think, he's creating the new Blender brushes, Blender sculpting brushes, and it's just so awesome. For example, the cloth brush, I need to learn that. I haven't tried that yet. Actually, for cloth, I'm using Marvelous Designer. I bought the 2018 version and I love it. I love it. There are some tutorials on my channel for that. Definitely recommend that software. But I'm thinking that if I combine Marvelous Designer with Blender's cloth sculpting tool, that will be amazing. Which gives me an idea for a tutorial. Did you? Yeah. Oh yeah, Blender does get laggy very quickly if you have a big scene. It does. Actually, one thing that helps kinda, at least when rendering, and even when working with big scenes, I don't know if you know it, but one thing that helps me when gathering scenes for Heroes of Bronze is using a lot of linked objects. And instead of appending everything, I link as many objects as I can into my scenes. So that's one thing that helps. We're almost done, just 2 more shields, and then we'll jump into Blender. Speaking of which, so yeah, what color to make for this shield? I will probably go with wood again here. I really want to finish this part because I've been working on this wall painting for far too long, so that's why I took this opportunity to work on it a bit more. And actually it's 6 p.m. and this is where the live stream should officially start. So again, welcome everybody. There's quite a lot of people watching, so I'm very glad for it. Hope I'm still, the sound is hopefully still okay. What we did was that I've shown everybody at the very beginning this reference sheet that I have, because my goal is to create a wall painting like this that you can see. I actually already created it, but I'm showing you the process and also finishing it in this live stream. Here is a pure reference document that I have. This was my main reference. It's called Chigi Vase. It's actually an amphora, painted amphora, and this is painted on an amphora, and then it was laid out in 2D space, and I took it as my reference. There are other amphora references. I also took this painted stoa, which is a building in ancient Greek agora, which is a meeting place that used to stand there, and they had a lot of paintings like these on the walls. This is just a reconstruction, of course, but I took it as a reference. And also what the guys at Ubisoft did for their game Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So that was my other reference. And then I started painting, you know, coloring this stuff, making my hoplites or bright and shiny, and the Prussians slightly less bright and shiny, and fleeing to their ships. So yeah, I'm finishing currently this phalanx on the left, just adding some colors to the shields. But, and this is what's interesting, these colors are actually not the final colors. What I'm doing here is I'm painting various materials for later using in Substance Painter. So you can see I have wood, bronze, I should really rename this so it's clear. Bronze, red color, probably linen, white color, probably linen, and blue color, and skin color. So these are several colors that will then drive my materials, as you can see on the final result. You can, for example, see that the bronze is actually a bronze layer. Yeah. So let me hide it and finish up these shields. And if you have any questions, why is the hoplite on the Wade's reference on the far left so worried? Let me have a look at it. On the far left? Which one do you mean? This one doesn't seem worried. He more like just woke up. Oh, it's a battle. Okay, I'll join. Wait for me, guys. I'm not sure which one is worried. Maybe this one? Yeah, I guess so. Looks weird. But it's historical. So let me finish up painting it. So some blue color on this rim, so it plays nicely with this tunic here. And I will probably go in later and add some more details, more colors to this to just make it more interesting. But for now, I won't bore you with it. So let me finish up these shields with some red color here. Oops. Gold effect we saw. Serliata loves the gold effect that we saw in the banner. And yeah, once I get to Substance Painter, I will show it to you how I've done that using this painting to drive it. So, finishing up this part. There's another blue part that I omitted, so let me paint it in. And last red region of the shield. I'm being really sloppy here, but yeah, I guess I'll come in later and finish it up better. This looks weird. I think this part should be a different color than everything else, so I will just select it like this, very sloppily and quickly, and change it to probably to blue color. The insides of the shields were actually sometimes covered in linen, sometimes in leather, sometimes just pure wood, because they were made underneath everything, they were made of wood, but they could basically be any color, so that's why I'm making it so colorful. And I will fill it with blue color instead, and of course remove the hand portion. That's it. And the crests, you know what, I think you get it. That's how I worked on this painting, and I have quite a lot of work yet to be done. These riders and the ship, but I will do that in my own spare time. Actually, I finally finished these shields. Somehow I just was so bored when I started working on them, so I figured I could make them throughout this live stream. So that is what happened. I will save my work. Actually save it as a new instance of this, or new copy of this. And then I went in and saved this whole painting as a PNG file, basically a wall texture in a PNG file. So I just saved it normally, nothing strange here. And let me now actually switch to my other monitor. Good. So I put this away. I will show you in Photoshop. In Photoshop, this is what I have now. Everything is colorful. All the colors mean other materials. And let me switch to Blender. This is my scene. It's very simple. Nothing fancy really. Just a few walls. And again, I will show you the final result, or this is just a portion of the final result. So that's how it looks in the final one. And this is my base model. I made, for all these parts of the model, I made unified, except for this one. I wonder what this part is. Let me just figure out what this part is. This big one, it's probably some, yeah, it doesn't matter. So for all these important parts that I wanted textured, yes, of course. I made unified UVs, and I actually created different texture sets for this part. So different texture set for this environment. You can see that I have a wall texture set here, or wall material for everything that isn't the painting on the wall. And then I have this in the very same dimensions that I created my painting. I added a geometry here, basically to function as the wall. I will show you how it looks when it's textured. Let me just have a look. Yeah, we can do it in Eevee. Daniel Valencia, hello, sir. And this is how it looks without any lighting. It is in Eevee, so the textures look quite bad, or quite low poly. But basically I created the wall where my painting should be, and as I will say again, I created in the same dimensions as my painting that I created in Photoshop, and then the surrounding geometry. And I've exported both of these things into Substance Painter. I will not stop now for describing how to export everything. That's a topic for a longer conversation, really. And you can learn all that from my tutorials that I have on YouTube for free. For example, I have the architectural asset tutorial where I cover just that, how to export stuff from Blender to Substance Painter. I also have the helmet tutorial series, so you can have a look at that. But important thing is, I created 2 texture sets. Let me change a color for this. One texture set was these pillars, the wall, and these 2 parts above my painted wall and below it. And then the second texture set was this actual wall painting that I painted in Photoshop. And this was before I textured anything. So I just created this geometry. I selected everything and I hit File, Export, and OBJ. So nothing complicated. I just took everything. I created a very basic scene with the wall in the dimensions of my image, incorporated into the scene, and then exported everything. And now let me actually open up Substance Painter, which is already running somewhere. Here. And let me fire up the scene. And now I will have a quick look into the chat. Treliata says that lighting plays a big role in the scene, and I couldn't agree more. After all, I made the video about importance of lighting for CG Boost. I kind of expressed everything there, so my scenes actually oftentimes are pretty shitty, surprisingly. And thanks to lighting and some clever camera work, it often looks much better than it actually is. So I can't recommend lighting any more than than I already did in that video for CG Boost. So I'm now opening up my project for this. And this is how it looks in Substance Painter. Nothing fancy, really. But let me actually... I have this wall. I will not stop really to tell you how I textured this wall. That's secondary, and you can learn that in the architectural asset course, for example. What's more important is this mural or the wall painting that we're creating here. And I didn't name my layers, so let me very quickly name it. And let me hide the colors here. Let me hide it from the top and show you, deconstruct everything. So I have this mural texture set imported, and after baking everything, which of course you must do every time you start a project in Substance Painter, you do it here, and I just simply baked everything with no high poly model because I don't have any high poly model. So I just baked what I needed, which was just ambient occlusion relay and curvature and position. And then when that was done, I added a layer of this church wall with cracks. This is a substance source material that I downloaded from this database. Hopefully it fires up, but you can access it anytime you want. And it's a huge library that Substance offers. And I will just quickly write this here, church wall, and you will find it there. So that's what I downloaded. And I put it on my wall as a basis. Then, actually over it, because I didn't want really to be just, I didn't want this painting to be really just a wall with some colors on it. So I figured, let's put a layer of plaster over it. So that's what I did. I have another substance source material, Spanish plaster it's called. I just gave it this blue color. but the color is not really important because over everything I then put my painting. And actually I will show you how to, because I have this old version of the painting, I will show you how to add your exported PNG from Photoshop onto a layer in Substance Painter. And thus I will actually update this this painting with the new version that I created. So first, above your layers, I add a fill layer, and in this properties fill, I just chose to have the color channel active for it. Let's name it wall painting. And for me to be able to put my wall painting onto this layer, I actually need to import, let me find it very quickly. I need to import that Marathon version 4 that I just created. You see from these. One thing I fucked up, sorry for the bad language. I forgot to invert the white lines to black lines. So let me very quickly do that in Photoshop. I actually have it here prepared. I just have this invert node or invert layer here. And yeah, that fixed things. So let me save it again. My bad. Marathon 4, so let me replace that. And sorry, I have Windows in Czech language, which is where I'm from, so some weird titles there, I guess, for you. So now I have this Marathon PNG, this time with black lines, so that's good. And the shields, new version of the shields. And I will just drag it into the shelf here and import it as a texture into the project. It's here now. Let me clear this. I don't know what that is. I will have a look at the chat. I was watching Blender Live, dang. Yeah, I wasn't. What happened there? It says OpenD Studio. So what happened in Blender Live chat? I don't know. Let me expand the layers here so that you can see them better. Somebody in the chat says you can't see them. So I have a fill layer here with just this color channel active. Now I have this Marathon painting that I created in Photoshop. It's not finished, but anyway, I will just drag it from here to this color, base color socket. We have this base color socket, the only one active. You can see it here. Actually, let me expand it a little so you can see it better. There is this base color socket. You can change your color here, or you can import an image into this window. So I just plug it here, and that's it. We have this painting overlaid over our two materials, the church wall and the Spanish plaster. And basically, I just put my color over the two materials, so it still retains the quality of the plaster and the church wall, but it's now colored differently. Now, what I can use this Marathon PNG for is not only color, base color, but as an ID color actually. Because each material, oh man, I've been really sloppy here, so I need to redo this later. Anyway, each of these regions has different color, and each of these colors basically means a different material. The brown can be wood or leather. The orange or the yellowish will be bronze. The blue is blue linen, and I can basically tell Substance Painter based on these colors how to mask out the different materials we will put there. So I will not only put this base color into my base color socket, but also here into this ID region. And that's one thing you have to learn when you're baking your materials, your texture sets. You have the option to bake this ID region here, but you don't really have to bake it if it's not basically built into your model. You can import it just as an image like this. And now I will show you the magic. So I have imported this marathon wall painting as an ID image into my texture set. And now let me actually reset these layers. I have a bronze layer above my wall painting, and when I just activate it like this, it will cover all of my wall with bronze. But I don't want to have it all over my wall. I want to have it only in these regions with the yellow. So I will add a black mask and click on this black mask with right mouse button, and there is this command here, add mask with color selection. That's it. That's how you control your IDs. I've added it here, and in this properties, let me make it bigger. In this properties color selection, I can now pick a color, and when I click on it, basically I will switch to my ID mask and can now pick any color I want. So I will just pick this yellow. And just like that, that's how I use this ID color to very quickly mask out everything that I want to be bronze. So you can see not only my hoplites, but also some of the Persians have bronze, and I really need to work more on these Persians. But yeah, so now, of course, if I wanted to, for example, all of the red colors to be linen, I have some linen material here, for example, this linen woven. So I could add it, and what will happen? Yeah, it adds linen all over everything. Let me actually switch to this triplanar and make it bigger. And now you can see I have a linen texture over everything. That's of course what ancient Greek people or artists didn't really do. They didn't like stick linen on their walls to create their wall paintings with. But let's say I would do that. So I can repeat the process again. If I wanted to have, for example, a red linen on the red areas. So I make this linen red. Add a black mask, add a color selection, pick a color, and see, now I have this linen material only on the regions where the red color is. But of course, that's not what I want, because as I said, ancient Greeks didn't really stick linen parts onto their wall paintings. They just added, as far as we know, they probably used little layers of bronze onto their wall paintings, but that was it. So basically I will just stick to some red coloring, add a black mask, and again add color selection, pick color, click on this region, and now I can actually play around with the color, make it brighter, make it darker, right here in Substance Painter. And one thing I'm thinking, when they painted this layer of red color, they may have, I have done that already, but they may have raised the surface a little bit. You know, you are adding a layer of painting onto the surface of the wall. So that's why I have this height channel active, and I can raise it a little over the surface. Let me actually rotate my camera like this to see it better. And I can actually add this effect of raising it above the surface. But I don't want to do it too much, so 0.01 might be quite enough. It adds just tad height to the surface. So it's just a little bit visible, but not too much. So that's what I like. And that's what I did for the blue color as well. This is actually maybe too bright, so let me dial it down a little. And that's what's awesome about this auto masking in Substance Painter. You can very quickly adjust your colors. And yeah. And if I wanted to work on this some more, I would be basically continuing with this. I will have a look at the comments actually now, because this is all there is to it. And now I will only export everything back into Blender and show you how it looks there. Some question. Wondering what happened Blender Live. Wow, so many comments. I missed them. Sorry. Hello from Brazil, Tiago. Very nice to have you here. Lighting or lightning? Lighting. Lightning is the Thunderbolt Zeus stuff that the god Zeus is throwing from the sky. And lighting is lighting a scene in Blender, for example. So, I guess lighting. David Sarkisian, ahoy, nazdar, zdravím tě. Sorry for the check, but he's my colleague from Warhorse Studios, or from the past, of course. I don't work there anymore. David doesn't work there as well, but yeah, good times, man. Hope you're doing fine. Hope you're healthy. Here's to you. Ray trace everything. Yeah, sure. Of course. What else? Creeper Hack says, either your headphones are huge or your head is really small. I can't really tell. I prefer that my headphones are huge. I actually, nobody ever told me that my head is too small. On the opposite, they mostly told me my head is quite big. So yeah, I never imagined I will be talking about this on this live stream, but here we are. Fits amazing. The church wall, yes, it does. Can't see the layers. Somende says you can't see the layers. I'm not sure how to help you, sir, because the layers are all here, and they should be. You are absolutely right. I've covered the layers with myself. That was a bad move, right? So I'll put myself here. I'm very sorry for that. So again, the layers. I will hide them all. Oh man. That's what happens when you don't do live streams too often. You do stupid mistakes like this. So I have the church wall here. Over it, I have the Spanish plaster, which gives it a little bit of, that plastery quality. I don't know how to say it better, but yeah, it's like adding plaster over an actual wall. And that's how I always think about creating materials in Substance Painter, is how would people actually do it. So the layering is very important. And first you have the wall, then you have the plaster, over it you have the color. So then I added the color as the actual base color from the PNG that we exported. And then I started adding these extra layers where I can play around with the various values. And if I wanted, I could actually add some texture to the roughness as well. So for example, if I wanted to add some more painted roughness to the red regions, for example, I could find some paint here. Maybe I will have a paint texture, and that's what's great about this program. It does have textures for everything. So grunge, paint scratched. Maybe we can use that. Huh. And it did something. You see? I just added this grunge paint scratched to this roughness socket, and it completely changed stuff. And now it almost looks like it was just freshly painted. And that's what sort of things you can do with Substance Painter. It's just, it's just so awesome to work with it. I will actually change this projection to triplanar and play around with the scale. But yeah, this is actually much, much better. It's like it was just finished. Very good, very nice. I think I will actually add the very same grunge scratch to the blue layer. And change it again to triplanar, change the scale to 30, and this looks much better. Wow, very nice. Good thinking. Sorry for covering for covering this layers window with my face. Sorry for that, guys. It is your head, Martin. Yes, it is my head. I know. I'm sorry. Open the studio. How would you, Mandraj is asking, how would I export this into something like Unreal Engine? I would go and export the textures with the preset Unreal Engine. That's, I guess, how I would do it. But I've never done that, actually. I just work with Blender, and I never really... I exported to Unity, actually, but never to Unreal Engine. But it's very simple to do it. You just have presets for all this, so it's very user-friendly, I'd say. And then you would just drag it into Unreal, I guess, and plug it in their material editor. So it's nothing difficult, really. This whole program makes me want to try. Streliata, I think I'm converting you to Substance Painter. I'm very glad. Substance Painter is, I don't know, it's relative, right? But I guess I don't think Substance Painter is too expensive for what it can do and for how much time it saves me. So it may seem like I'm doing commercial for Substance Painter with all my work, but I really love it. And no, Adobe doesn't pay me. And actually, Adobe mostly ignores me. So yeah, every time I need something from them. But Substance is awesome. So yeah. Not too expensive. Yes. I'm not actually sure how much now it costs, how much Substance costs for a month. Let me have a quick check. It is a subscription-based tool, which is, I hate subscriptions, but it's not too bad. I basically pay the yearly rate, and I think it's like $250 per year. So I don't know. For what it allows me to do, it's quite alright. That's my opinion. Alright, next questions. Oh my, the reasonable. It would save a lot of time. Yes, it would save a lot of time. And it's not easy. Time-consuming comparison. One thing about Substance Painter is if you know Photoshop, it's easy to get into it. It's really very similar. I'll actually push my head back here. I will make myself smaller. Yeah, that's it. That works. Cool. I can do that apparently. Very nice. So yeah. As I've said, I recommend it. And I'm very glad that I was able to improve these regions that look much more painterly now. So thanks to you guys. I will just save my work now. So, and then we will export it into Blender, and I will show you how to plug in these textures onto my wall in Blender. There is actually this mistake. His hand is inverted because the handle shouldn't be visible with his right hand. It basically should be like this. So yeah, this shouldn't be visible. But I know about it, and I will replace it. So don't worry, guys. And I actually think I've replaced it on the final result. Yes, here it is replaced. Yeah, I don't even know how this happened. Alrighty, it's saved, and let me export it. I actually have a Blender Cycles exporting template here. I can have a look into configuration. I have several extra channels that I export, and if they are missing, like for example in case of our wall, it just gives me some error, but it doesn't really mean anything. If I don't have the opacity and emissive channel and scattering active, it will just give me an error. It won't export, but the rest of the channels will export just fine. So that's not a big deal. So I always have these channels here as well, and if they can be exported, they will export. So that's my Blender Cycles configuration, and I think I actually created this configuration in one of my courses, either in the Helmet tutorial series or in the CG Boost Substance Painter. There definitely I explain how to create these, so you can check that out. I don't need to re-export the wall because we didn't change anything on it. We actually just changed this mural or the wall painting. So I will just export it. And great thing about Substance Painter is that you can actually raise your resolution above the one you worked with. I worked with 4K resolution throughout this project, but I can upscale the quality even now without any errors by setting this to this experimental setting, and it mostly works. You just have to give it some time. So I will just have a look where I'm exporting it and hit the export. Hopefully it won't crash on me. I'm lagging a little, so hopefully you can hear me. My computer is probably working as hell now. It's a lot of fun, and Martin's a great teacher. Thanks so much, sir. Very good to hear. VBR says that ancient Greeks were designed with inverted hands. Maybe. which would mean I'm not wrong, so very good. And Logan says it's industry standard. Yes, it is, meaning Substance Painter. Mostly for games. I think for movie industry, it's still more Mari oriented. Because Mari can do a lot of UDIMs and a large number of very large scale textures. So that's not really what Substance Painter can do yet. Even though I've worked with quite a lot of texture sets with 8K or 4K and 4K resolutions, and then exported to 8K and was quite fine. So hopefully I'm not lagging for you. And it should finish exporting quite soon, and then we will get back to Blender. It's now exporting the height texture. This is actually the part I usually skip in my courses, but here it's a live stream, so yeah. And here it says scattering can't be generated. I click on this, scattering can't be generated, emissive, opacity, that's what I said. It just gives you these errors, but it doesn't mean the rest of the textures that are actually present in this texture set, which is base color, height, roughness, metallic, and normal, they were exported just fine. So now let me close this project and get back to Blender. Here, I will switch to this shader editor, and I will show you a neat trick how to plug in all these textures all at once. So let me switch to this Eevee shaded view. Let me just raise the strength of the environment a bit, and again I will make myself a little smaller just for you to see. So I have this place where I will plug in my texture onto this plane here, and on this plane I have the mural material, and in it this principal BSDF shader. Now I could go in and basically import my images one by one, marathon mosaic, and I could import it one by one and plug it in. Sorry. Wrong. Base color. Yes, here. So yeah, I could do that. But there's a quicker solution. If you have the Node Wrangler add-on active, so you can go into your add-ons in Blender, type in Wrangler, and you can see I have it here, active. And one of the very handy shortcuts is Control-Shift-T. Control-Shift-T. When you then navigate to your folder, you can just Control select all the textures you want plugged in. So I have the mural here. The other textures are for the wall. I don't want to change the textures for the wall. So I have the mural base color, metallic, normal, and roughness. So these four I want plugged in. I click this principal texture setup and voila, hopefully. It's working because it's Eevee, of course. And here you can see it plugged it in automatically and even added this nice mapping node in a group. Here are our textures and everything is set. Even this non-colored data, as Blender Guru says. So everything is set up as it should be. And you can see here, because it's Eevee, it's very low quality from the distance like this. When I go closer, you can see that all the details are here. And let me actually expand it a bit. And I can switch it to cycles, just for you to see the higher quality. And yeah. This is how I created a scene for this mural, how I painted it in Photoshop. You can see I have these shields now colored. So one more part of this mural is done. And then I put it into Blender, exported my geometry to Substance Painter. I used the painted Photoshop document as ID mask as well as the base color. And then I exported it back, plugged it into the principal BSDF shader, and it looks like this. Of course, the final scene has some more details in it. I added this ivy, and when I go to the camera, these conveniently placed amphoras are just where they just at the edges of the shot. Convenient. So yeah. And the IV is there as well, though it needs some more work. Of course, this is a work in progress scene. And I did some basic lighting. I can show you, but it's nothing finished here. So just a little top light and a few side lights. It's more visible when I go from the side. So yeah, it gives a little accent to this part, but the scene itself is not finished. What was more important was the process, how I got there. And that's what I wanted to show you today. I hope you liked this process. I hope you learned something about how to use your paintings that you create in Photoshop in new and surprising ways in Substance Painter, for example, like ID masks. And if you have some questions now, you can ask away, because in 10 minutes I will probably be stopping this recording. But it was great fun. I loved it. I don't know why I'm not doing this more often. So yeah. Gotta head off. Logan is heading off, so bye-bye, Logan. Pavish is asking, how long have I been doing 3D? I started when I was studying 10 years ago. at a movie school. I had a lot of time there and time to do some projects, so I started studying 3D there. I learned Maya, actually, as I mentioned. And I also started with After Effects. My first job in the industry was actually a compositor in After Effects. That's how I got my first job. But gradually I wanted to learn how to create more CG stuff. So that's how I got into 3D business. And for 10 years I've been trying to do stuff in 3D. And 4 years ago I discovered Blender. Of course I knew about Blender before, but 4 years ago it sort of started to be usable in my opinion. Before that I just couldn't get into it. It was too user unfriendly, but something happened with versions 276 277, and suddenly it sort of clicked for me, and I discovered the whole community about Blender. So that's what brought me to Blender, and ever since I've been using it and trying to do all the stuff I can in the Blender. So yeah, that's the other software I always plug here. Can you recommend any learning material other than tutorials? Definitely. I don't really have any books here present, but some of you may have seen my video at CG Boost channel where I talk about lighting. And if I was to mention one book in particular that really changed the way I look at lighting, it's the Color and Light by James Gurney. If you know, James Gurney is the author of Dinotopia. It's a children book, but with beautiful paintings of dinosaurs and people living next to each other, and it's realistic. It's not something for children. No, it's really just realistic paintings, amazing paintings. That's actually what I was flipping through the book constantly as a child, and I wanted to know how to paint and create stuff. And Color and Light, as I mentioned, is by this author. And there he talks about how he approaches his paintings, how he thinks about light and color. Hence the name of the book, Color and Light. And it's really amazing. So I think every artist, no matter whether he works in 3D or 2D, concept artist or 3D artist, game industry, movie industry, everybody should know about light and color. So that's one book I can recommend. And I will write it here. That will be Color and Light by James Gurney. If you make one purchase throughout this quarantine that I guarantee will be valuable for you, this might be the one. This will be the one if you make it. But I love it. I don't have it here at hand, but yeah, awesome book. Can you recommend? Yeah. When will you next do stream? As soon as possible. I kind of liked it today. I really should do this more often. As I said, I promised actually to do more live streams at my Patreon page, where slowly more patrons are coming in. I can give you the Patreon link to the discussion here. Which of course would be awesome if you supported my project there. It's all about Heroes of Bronze and what I'm doing with this ancient Greece stuff. But you know, any amount of money that I get from these sites like Gumroad and Patreon allows me to do more tutorials and finish my project sooner and do more courses about it. So that will be helpful for you as well. Besides, I give out there some free bonuses when you become patrons. So maybe have a look at it, and that would be awesome if you decided to support me. But if not, no stress. It's just I love doing this, and I will be doing this anyway. So yeah, I love this project. And what I'm thinking about is actually making a different sort of live stream video. Of course, I will be doing these workflow videos as well, but I might do some, I don't know, presentation like how to stick to your projects, or how to pick a project that you will enjoy, and how to, the importance of personal projects, stuff like that, because that's what I'm all about. I've been doing personal projects for many years, and that's the stuff. To be honest, with this quarantine and all, I don't really feel like it's anything bad for me, because I get to stay at home and work on my project, and that's awesome. So of course, people have problems with health, and that's tragic, but I really feel this like an opportunity, this quarantine situation, to work more on the stuff I like, and hopefully you can do the same. So yeah, I'm thinking about making a video on how to pick your next personal project or something like that. I'll see. It's just an idea that's brewing inside my mind now. And VBR says, James Gurney also has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of gouache painting there. I've seen it. It's amazing. I don't know how he does that. Of course, he practiced this for like 40 years already, but that's definitely an amazing channel, and I will post it into the discussion because he is my hero. Oh, he's really awesome. And if there's a person that's really just really loves what he's doing, and he enjoys every bit of it, it's him. And his energy is contagious, so you may find yourself painting in plein air after you watch this channel. So really recommend it. And if you, I actually will probably stop this live stream now, but if you have any more questions, ask them now. Otherwise, it was lovely to be here with you. I'm glad that there were people the whole time with me. And it's, as I said, it's quite a lot of fun. Yeah, next time I will try not to cover the layers with my head down here. Yeah, I need to get a better video set up and generally just figure this live streaming thing. Yeah. Pavel Vičík, ahoj! Přišel si na konec streamu. It's just another friend of mine joining. Hello, sir, and I hope you're doing fine. I hope you're all healthy. And OpenD Studio will watch the rerun. The rerun will be available at the Patreon page. That's something of a bonus that I promised my patrons. That's the least I can do for supporting me there. So yeah, the link will be on my Patreon. And Tiago says thanks. I thank you too for watching this live stream. And with that, I think I will not make this any longer. This is what I achieved through some painting. Then exporting all this into Substance Painter. I actually already closed the Substance Painter scene, but here's the final result. Not really final. I need to finish this stuff on the right, but that's for me to finish up over the weekend, hopefully. Alrighty. I hope you enjoyed it. I will try to make these live streams more often, and see you next time, guys. And stay creative. Bye bye.